Hi guys, so my name is Akia Davis and formerly known as Kia, and today I would like to pretty much just go everything that I talked about last week as like a refresher. So last week we started the How to Read a Financial Statement series, really talking about one reading the income statement. So we started off with the income statement, and we pretty much just started off with revenue. We started off with gross profit. We started talking about how you can look at gross profit compared to expenses and like operating expenses. What else we talk about? I think those were only things we talked about. So we're gonna do a real life example. We're gonna look up a stock and we're going to see um we're going to see like based off what those infographics showed if that stock is worth investing in. So let's go ahead and do that. Like I have, like this is my computer. It's a little junky. The background is a little messy. Sorry. I decided to go with Lululemon. So I want to evaluate Lululemon stock and see if they are worth an investment. I'm actually not invested in Lululemon stock, but I don't know. I have some Lululemon clothes, and I was like, let's see if Lululemon is worth the investment. You can use Yahoo Finance. Let's just use Yahoo Finance. So usually just go to financials. Sorry, let's make this bigger. Let me make this bigger, and then wait. I can't see myself. Yeah. So right. So this is the balance. This is the income statement. Sorry, not balance sheet. This is the income statement. This is the very first infographic that I posted. Right. So the income statement shows how much the company earned over a set period of time, right? So first you want to examine revenue, but like I said, you only want to examine revenue with a grain of salt. So in 2017, revenue was 2.3 million, then it was 2.6 million, 3.2 million, 3.9 million, then it was 4 million. So we see that revenue is increasingly rising over the years. So we see that revenue is rising. So just based off that Lululemon is doing good. Like, people are continually buying Lululemon clothes. They are getting more customers each and every year. So that's a good thing. So now we want to look at the gross profit. So gross profit, like the infographic tells us, gross profit tells us how much the company actually made off total revenue, right? So after you subtract like cost of goods sold, like how much the company actually made, after they pay labor. And I think Lululemon uses a company like a factory in Indonesia. Actually, I'm looking it up. Yeah, so I guess they actually have factories all over the world. They have factories in the U.S., China, Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, Canada, Colombia, China, Peru, Indonesia, Sri Lanka. So yeah, so basically, cost of revenue is just kind of showing us like all like after they pay all those factory workers, like this is how much money they have left, right? Yeah. So what does this matter? So we see the gross profit is rising still. We have 1.1 million, 1.3 million, 1.8 million, 2.2 million, and 2.2 million. So we will ignore this. Actually, ignore this column. Okay. So 2.2 million. So we do see like it is steadily rising. So that's another good thing. Like their profit is rising. So not only is their revenue rising, but their profit is rising. So still, Lululemon still looks good. The next infographic I posted was this one. We are talking about SG&A expenses, which are also called operating expenses. So on this income statement, they are labeled as operating expenses. So as we see here, the operating expenses here was only 778,000, 904,000, 1.1 million, and then 1.3 million in 2020. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the calculator, and then we're going to calculate what percentage of their profit was their operating expense. What we're going to do is we're going to take operating expense, so this $13,000, and we're going to divide it by the gross profit. So it's not too It's not too difficult. It's not too difficult whatsoever. So what we're going to do is just take this operating expense and divide it by the gross profit within that same year, because what we want to see is we want to see like how much of expenses are being taken out of the profit. Because if all their money is going for their expenses, then they're not really profitable. I'm pretty sure many of us can think of somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck, like who's really just working to live. And we don't want to invest in a company who's simply, working to live, because that's not a company that's really going to provide us any type of, dividends, any type of payout, any type of returns in our future.
So what we're going to do is take this 778, 465 divided by 1199617. Yeah. So that gives us a ratio, a percentage of 65%, and that is pretty high. I'm actually looking for my pen. Where's my pen? Right here. So that gives us a percentage of 65%. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do 904,264 divided by 1398, 790. Now we have 65% again. And then we're going to do 111, 10, 451 divided by 18, 16, 287. Gives us 61%, so we should decrease a little bit. And then we're going to do 1334, 276 divided by 22, 386. So that's 60%.
So 2017, right? 2017, we're at 65%. 65%. Then we're at 2018, 65%. 2019, 61%. 2020, 60%. So right here, the goal is always you want to find a company that is somewhere less than 30%, because less than 30%, like you see that the company is very competitive in its industry. When their expenses are constantly, close to or above 100% of, gross profit, the company usually isn't competitively, they usually don't have a competitive advantage within the industry. And in this case, Lululemon is in the apparel industry. So because their expense ratio is so high, you would question, like, do they have a competitive edge, against other, apparel companies? And I think that's something that you have to just kind of ask yourself, because I don't think anybody really has that answer, do you think Lululemon is better than Nike or Adidas or, who else sell clothes? I don't know. Like, who else? Like, who would you say Lululemon's competitors are? Lululemon competitors. Yeah, I said that. Adidas, Nike, Gap, Under Armour, Columbia, Puma, Fabletics, New Balance. Like, according to just this measure, not all, but just this one measure, because SGA expenses are so high, you would say that they don't have a competitive advantage. So just because this one percentage isn't below 30%, like right here, like our goal, says, that doesn't mean that Lululemon isn't a great stock. When you're doing your research, you may not find everything's perfect. When you have a little checklist, everything may not be perfect. I think it's pretty much subjective. You want to find things that you may think, okay, well, the revenue looks good, gross profit look good. Okay, maybe their expenses are a little bit high, but maybe Lululemon is still a great stock. So this was the third post that I made. You definitely want your stocks to have a high gross margin. When stocks have high gross margin, it usually means, not all the time, but it usually means that those stocks are very competitive in their industry. That these are the stocks that if you invest in them, you'll see very great returns through your future. That your money is relatively safe, and you will have great returns. I don't know why, but I'm losing my voice right now. I don't even know why, because I have not even been anywhere to lose my voice. Oh my god, my voice. So I use Coca-Cola as an example because Coca-Cola is a stock that many long-term investors, many investors that are 3 times my age have, talked about, like, if you start out just buy Coca-Cola. I don't know, people buy Coca-Cola, now, but yeah, this is a value stock. So I kind of posted that they've always had a very consistent gross margin. Over from 2006 to 2020, they've always had a very consistent gross margin. So yeah, so when it's very consistent and it's high, it's more than likely that a company, has a competitive advantage in their industry, and these are the type of stocks that you want to invest in. Yeah, when it comes to stocks and investing, like, there are so many things out there. You can say, I only invest in stocks that have a consistently high revenue. I only invest in stocks with a market cap of more than $100 million. I only invest in stocks with a high gross margin. Like, whatever they are, like, everybody has their styles. I think it's more so like educating yourself about the different types, and whatever. Like, for the things that we talked about so far in our series, the most important to me is this: having a high gross margin. Now, having a consistent revenue is important. Keeping your expenses low is important. But for what I talked about so far, having a consistently high, having a consistent gross margin that's relatively high, I think that definitely shows that this company will keep my investment safe, and that's something that I care about. The next person, they may say, I don't care about that, Kia. I care about a good P ratio, and and that may work for their portfolio. But yeah, so let's calculate the gross margins for Lululemon and see how it will pan out for them.
So gross margin, just to calculate, is just gross profit divided by revenue. And I'm so sorry, I'm losing my voice. I don't even know how I'm losing my voice. All I do is talk on FaceTime. I don't even talk to nobody for real. So I'm going to do gross profit divided by sales, or revenue, whatever you want to call it, 392. So in 2017, it was 51%. And then 2018, 1398, 790 divided by 26, 49, 181. Oh, that's not right. 1398, 790 divided by 26, 49, 181. Then it was 53%. And then 18, 16, 287, 287 divided by 32, 88, 319. Then it was 55%. And then it was, I'm sorry, I'm going really slow. I'm sorry, I'm so blind. Then it was 22, 23, 386 divided by 39, 79, 296. Then it was 56%.
All right, so I really do like these numbers. Yes, I really do like these numbers. So 2017 we have 51%, 2018 we have 53%, 2019 we have 55%, and then 2020 we have 56%. So we see that this gross margin is constantly going up, 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 and it's going up on a slope, which is something that we definitely want to see, because not only they're increasing gradually and consistently. All right, so I wrote this down. So from what we calculated, right? Sorry, just a post-it note. So from what we calculated, we see that the expenses, it started out pretty high in 2017, 65%. Yeah, we want it under 30%, right? But 65%, it's not that bad. But it's slowly decreasing, right? They're going to be close to 50% soon. They're slowly decreasing, and then we see their gross margin is slowly increasing, right? They started out at 51%, now they're at 56%. So revenue is increasing. They're getting more money. They're spending less. So they're making more. They're spending less, and they're profiting more. So far, it seems like a company that I would want to invest in. So that's all I have for today. By the end of the series, I'm going to walk you through the income statement, through the balance sheet, and through the cash flow statement. And you have a very, very good idea of how to analyze a stock yourself, and we'll actually really know whether you should invest in Lululemon or not. Because like I said, last year, or like a year or two ago, Lululemon was about $200. Now it's worth about $365. Is it worth jumping in now? Will it be $500 next year, or is it too late? We're gonna do our research and we're gonna see. So I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you guys learned something from today. All right, see you guys.